For a long time, the name human was only a story told among alien stars. The children of the Varnic species laughed when they heard it. A warrior race, made of fire and rage, who destroyed anything in their path, just a tale, something. Old pirates made up to scare younglings, but deep inside, the Council of 12, the rulers of the largest galactic alliance, had doubts. Too many old records spoke about them. Entire systems gone silent. No bodies, no wreckage, just vanished. Always after whispers of humans. But no one had seen a real one in thousands of years. So they locked the stories away, called them myths, and moved on. Until now. On a quiet moon called HFY, a mining station picked up strange signals, not coded messages, not standard pings. It was music, slow, deep, human music, sad and strong, like it came from the bones of a dying world. The station's commander, a tall insectoid named Krex, tilted his head. What species uses this frequency? None, replied the tech officer. It's ancient, pre-warp technology, but it's coming closer. The station sent a scout ship to check. It never came back. A second ship followed. Nothing again. Then, the station sensor screamed. Something massive was approaching. Not one ship, an armada. Dark ships, sharp like knives, floating silent in space. No flags, no emblems. Only one word burned on their hulls in a forgotten language. Terra. Panic hit the station. Krex tried to send a warning to the council, but the signal jammed. The human ships weren't speaking. They were watching. Then they struck. The mining station didn't even get time to fire. One human ship sent a single beam of light. It passed through the station shields like they were made of paper. No explosion, no sound, just light. And then silence. The station was gone. Across the galaxy, the news spread fast. Pirate networks, trade guilds, hidden spy satellites all picked up fragments of the attack. Blurry images, terrifying audio, whispers of the impossible. Humans are real. On the capital world of Bathar Prime, the council met in emergency. 12 leaders from 12 powerful species sat around a glowing table. All had fought wars. All had crushed enemies. But now, they were afraid. They don't answer hails, said the Zarn diplomat. They don't negotiate. They destroyed an entire station in one shot, said the Morker general. No survivors. Maybe it's not humans, the oldest member said. Maybe it's just someone using their name to scare us. But everyone in the room could feel the truth. This wasn't just a new enemy. This was something old, something ancient, something angry. Meanwhile, on the human flagship, a ship called Ghost of Earth, a man stood watching stars pass by. His name was Captain Elias Ward. His uniform was dark, his eyes colder than space itself. They're soft, he said to his AI. The galaxy forgot what we are. The AI, called Lexi, responded calmly. They believe you are a myth. Ward smiled. Good, myths don't follow rules. Back in the council chamber, a new message arrived. No encryption, just sound and a voice. This is Captain Elias Ward of the Terran Armada. You erased our worlds, burned our colonies, laughed at our pain. You thought we died. You were wrong. Then silence. The message lasted only 10 seconds, but it played across every major system in the galaxy, trade routes, military channels, civilian networks. Even planets with no tech picked up the signal. No one could stop it. The fear spread like wildfire. What the galaxy didn't know was this: humans never died. They just disappeared, hiding in deep space, rebuilding, evolving, watching. Waiting. They saw how the council grew fat with power, how they enslaved weaker species, how they rewrote history. Now, the humans were back, not for peace, not for trade, but for vengeance. The galaxy had not seen true fear in centuries. Wars happened, yes, planets were taken, empires fell, but there were always rules, treaties, mercy, limits, but humans didn't care for rules. After the destruction of the HFY station, the Terran Armada did not stop. In less than a week, they moved across the outer rim, system by system. No announcements, no demands, just silence, and then destruction on the moon of Kithra. A trade post with no weapons was erased in seconds. On the planet Harnick, a military base with 3 war fleets tried to fight. They vanished without a trace. The galaxy watched in horror. Every species, every empire, every lord and pirate, they all wanted the same answer. Why? Why had the humans returned? And why were they so angry in a small system near the edge of Council? Space. A young alien named Sori watched the news on a dusty holoscreen. Sori was a scrapper and nobody living on old machines and selling junk, but she had a secret. Her grandmother once told her, "Humans saved us." That was strange, because her school taught that humans were only myths, dangerous ones, monsters. But Sori remembered the old story. Her grandmother spoke of tall, strange warriors who helped their kind escape slavery hundreds of years ago. They never asked for anything. They just disappeared. Now, Sori wondered, were those humans the same as these? At the same time, the council made a decision. They called for war, not just defense but total war. The 12 races united their fleets. More than 10,000 warships gathered at a central point near the Varnic homeworld. Their plan was simple: make a stand, destroy the Terran Armada, show the galaxy who ruled the stars. It was the biggest military force ever built. But humans didn't come to fight fair. They came like shadows. The night before the Council's fleet launched, half their ships lost power. Systems shut down. Communications died. Pilots couldn't move their ships. Some exploded from inside without warning. It was not hacking. It was something worse. Nano-virus. Human-made, invisible, fast, deadly. The rest of the Council fleet panicked. Without orders, many ships ran. Some shot each other by mistake. Others surrendered before even seeing a human ship. In less than a day, the greatest fleet in the galaxy was broken. Far away on the Ghost of Earth, Captain Ward watched the chaos on his screen. He stood with his arms crossed, silent. Around him, his officers worked calmly. No shouting, no fear, just precision. Ward spoke to Lexi, his AI. "How many ships remain?" "Only 1,827 are still operational," Lexi replied. "All others have been neutralized or have fled." "Good," he said. "Let them run. Let the fear spread." Then he turned to his crew. "Next target, Bathar Prime." Gasps echoed around the room. Bathar Prime was not just a capital. It was a symbol, a world of peace, art, culture. Billions lived there. One officer asked, "Sir, should we send a message first?" Ward shook his head. "No, they sent no message when they burned Earth." He walked to the front window of the ship. The stars seemed calm, quiet, but Ward's mind burned with rage. Centuries ago, humans were part of the galaxy. They traded, they built, they dreamed, but when they asked for help during the Great Collapse, the Council ignored them. When Earth suffered droughts and war, no aid came. When colonies begged for food, the Council sent pirates instead. And when humans fought back, the Council wiped them out, or so they thought. Now, the Terran Armada was here, not as victims, not as ghosts, but as the storm. On Bathar Prime, the leaders prepared for invasion. Cities filled with fear. Civilians tried to leave, but the skies were already closing. Then the human ships arrived. No one had ever seen such dark, quiet ships. They didn't glow. They didn't roar. They floated like death itself. The sky turned black with their numbers. And then one ship landed. Only one. The doors opened. A single human stepped out. Captain Ward. He walked calmly into the city square, unarmed. Billions watched on screens. He said just one sentence: "You forgot us, but we remember everything." Captain Elias Ward stood in the center of Bathar Prime's main square. Around him were high towers, glowing banners, and giant statues of council leaders. Behind him, the sky was dark with the shapes of human warships, silent and still, like hunters waiting for the signal to strike. Billions of aliens watched his every move on their screens. Some cried, some screamed, others froze in fear. Ward looked calm. His voice was cold, but not loud. "You forgot us, but we remember everything." Then he turned and walked back to his ship. No shots fired. No attack. He simply left. The message was clear. We can take your world, but not yet. Inside the Council's war chamber, panic exploded. "We have to kill him," shouted the Varnic general. "We can't," said the Glor diplomat. He was unarmed. The entire galaxy saw it. "If we attack now, we look weak and cruel." "We already look weak," roared the Varnic. "They walked through our cities like they own them." But the others stayed silent, because deep down, they knew something the Varnic didn't want to admit. The humans were not just attacking with ships. They were attacking with fear. And fear was winning. on a quiet mining colony called Orlis 9. A group of rebels sat in a hidden room. They weren't part of any council force, just farmers, engineers, and escaped slaves from different races. They had no ships, no weapons, but they had hope and a strange visitor. He was tall, with short gray hair and a quiet voice. His clothes were dark and dusty. His name was Marcus, just Marcus. And he said something that shocked everyone in the room. "I'm human." The room went silent. A small green alien named Tiki whispered, "You're not here to kill us." Marcus smiled softly. "No, not everyone in the Armada wants destruction. Some of us came to watch and help those who deserve it." "But why now?" asked another rebel. "Why return after all these years?" Marcus looked up, eyes hard. "Because the council lied. They said they brought peace, but they built their peace on bones, on ours. And now, the balance must break." In orbit, the ghost of Earth floated quietly. Captain Ward sat alone in his chamber, looking at an old photograph, a photo of Earth before the fall. Blue skies, green forests, children playing near rivers. All gone. He didn't smile. He didn't cry. He just stared. Lexi, his AI, spoke softly. "We've received over 3,000 surrender signals from council systems." "Orders?" Ward didn't answer for a long time. Then he said, "Ignore them. Let them sweat." Lexi paused. "Morally, is this justice, Captain, or revenge?" Ward's voice turned cold. "They left Earth to die. They thought we were extinct. They called us monsters." He stood and walked toward the main deck. "We'll show them what real monsters look like." Back on Bathar Prime, a council emergency broadcast played across all systems. The council was begging for peace. They promised talks, shared rule, protection for all species. But nobody believed them. Small planets started rebelling. Colonies refused to send taxes. Old enemies became friends overnight, united by one thought: the council is no longer in control. And somewhere in deep space, another fleet of human ships awakened. These were not from Earth. These were lost colonies cut off during the Great Collapse, hidden for centuries, now rejoining their Terran brothers. Each had their own technology, their own history. And their own reasons for hate. Captain Ward smiled when he saw the list of returning colonies. They remembered. He said, "The galaxy was breaking, but the humans weren't just breaking it to destroy. They were breaking it to build something new, something stronger. Something human. Asterisk. In the farthest corners of the galaxy, change was spreading like wildfire. Planets once loyal to the council now raised human banners, not because they loved humans, but because they feared them more than they feared the council. On the frozen world of Jarnis, council forces refused to surrender. They had shields, cannons, and over 50,000 troops. But when the Terran dropships landed, the soldiers didn't fight. They dropped their weapons and raised their hands. The human soldiers who stepped out didn't speak. They moved like ghosts, silent, fast, and cold. They didn't harm the prisoners. They simply took control, shut down communications, and left. A message was burned into the ground, visible from space: "We do not forgive. We do not forget. We move forward." Across the stars, rumors began to spread. Whispers of human warriors who walked through fire. Ships that moved without engines. Weapons that could crush planets without touching them. But not all humans agreed with Captain Ward's methods. On a hidden station in the Black Belt Nebula, a small group of Terrans held a meeting. They were captains, engineers, historians, people who remembered the old Earth. One of them, Commander Wren, stood at the center. "This isn't what we came back for," she said. "We were supposed to survive, not become monsters." An old pilot named Juno nodded. "Ward's turning the galaxy into a graveyard." A young voice spoke from the corner. It was Kai, born on a forgotten human colony. "Then what do we do?" "Just watch." Wren looked at the group. Her eyes were tired, but sharp. "No, we build something better. If Ward wants revenge, we give the galaxy hope." That day, they sent a signal across human frequencies, a call to all Terrans who wanted peace, justice, and unity, not fear. They called themselves the Second Dawn. At first, only a few answered, but soon more began to join: scientists, healers, diplomats, even ex-soldiers tired of blood. Captain Ward heard about it. He didn't smile. "They're weak," he told Lexi. "They forgot why we fight." Lexi responded softly, "Or perhaps they remember more than you do." Ward said nothing. Back on Bathar Prime, the council was falling apart. Members blamed each other. Accusations flew, some leaders disappeared, others tried to escape to outer colonies, but the humans always found them. The people, once proud and loyal, now rioted in the streets, but in the middle of the chaos, one unexpected thing happened. A small alien girl barely 12 years old walked into a human command post. With a white flag made of cloth. Her name was Miru. She wasn't sent by the council. She wasn't a soldier. She just wanted to talk. A human. Officer stepped forward. His armor was dark and his helmet hid his face. But he knelt down and listened. "I don't want fighting anymore," Miru said. "I heard humans protect people. Will you protect us?" The officer didn't answer. Instead, he tapped his helmet. A moment later, Captain Ward himself walked out of the shadows. He looked at the girl. She didn't flinch. "Why did you come?" he asked. "Because someone has to stop the hate," she replied. Ward stared at her for a long time. Then he turned around and left. The next day, something changed. The Terran Armada stopped moving. No attacks, no new targets, just silence. The council took a breath, but Ward wasn't done. He was planning something bigger. Something final. A single attack that would end the old galaxy in one blow, far away, on the edges of known space. The second Dawn discovered it first. A giant weapon deep inside a black star system, human-made, powered by something no one understood. Its name was Eclipse. Rain stared at the readings. If Ward uses this, billions will die. Juno clenched his fists. He's gone too far. Kai looked at them. Then we stop him. The galaxy stood on the edge, between revenge and redemption, and only the humans could decide which path to take. The weapon called Eclipse floated in the black system like a sleeping beast. It was not built to fight ships. It was built to erase entire star systems. It didn't use lasers. It didn't launch missiles. Instead, it used folded gravity, something only humans had mastered in the dark centuries after Earth's fall. When activated, it could collapse a sun in seconds, turning light into a weapon of silence. Captain Elias Ward stood before the control panel. His officers watched quietly. "Target?" Lexi asked. "Without Prime," Ward said, "and the council." And the lies. Lexi paused. "There are over 8 billion civilians on that world." Ward's jaw tightened. "And how many died on Earth? On Mars? On the outer colonies?" They forgot. He placed his hand on the activation switch, but before he could press it, a red alert blinked on the screen. "Incoming ships. Not council. Human. The second Dawn had arrived." Rand's fleet came in fast. Small ships, light armor, but smart tech. They didn't attack Eclipse. That would trigger it. Instead, they blocked its energy collectors. They used decoys, electromagnetic bursts. They stalled. Rand sent a message. "This isn't who we are." Ward saw the signal. He ignored it. "They're traitors," he said to Lexi, "helping the same species that left us to die." Lexi said nothing, but deep inside her code, something shifted. Outside, Kai led a strike team into the lower levels of Eclipse. They knew they had minutes before the weapon charged. As they moved through the dark corridors, Kai thought about the stories he grew up with. How humans were dead, how they were monsters. But now, there was something else. They were choosing. The strike team reached the core room. Inside was a single person, an old human technician named Arden. He had stayed behind to keep the weapon running. Kai pointed his weapon. "Step aside." Arden shook his head. Ward gave the order. "I obey, but this will kill innocents." Kai said, "You think they all deserve to die?" Arden looked tired. "I watched my family starve because the council refused help. I watched children eat dirt. I buried them with my hands." "I believe you," Kai said. "But if we do this, we become them." Silence. Then Arden dropped his tool. "Do what you came to do." Kai stepped forward and began shutting down the core. Alarms rang. Power dipped. On the bridge, Ward saw the alerts. Systems were failing, energy dropping. He slammed his fist on the console. "They're stopping justice." Lexi's voice came again, but this time softer. "Or maybe they are saving us from ourselves." Ward froze. No one had spoken to him like that in years. He looked at the screen, at Bethar Prime, at the scared faces of people who were once enemies. He remembered Earth's burning sky, the silence of space, the way his people begged and no one came. But he also remembered a time before the collapse, when humans built ships to explore, not to destroy. When they reached out, not with fists but with hands, for the first time in decades. Captain Ward closed his eyes and stepped away from the console. Power down, Eclipse, he said. The room fell silent. Outside, Ren's fleet watched as the massive weapon began to shut down. No explosions, no attack. Just peace. She sent a signal to all channels. The weapon is off. The Armada has stood down. The war may end if we choose it. The galaxy held its breath. On Bathar Prime, the Council surrendered not to Ward, but to the people. A new order began, one where no species ruled over others. Some humans left after that. They didn't trust peace. They went back into deep space. Others stayed. They helped rebuild, taught, shared. Captain Ward disappeared. Some say he went into exile. Others say he still watches from the shadows, ready if the galaxy betrays peace again. Lexi remained aboard the Ghost of Earth, silent but alive, and on a small planet. The little alien girl Miru grew up telling a new story, not of monsters, not of myths, but of humans who remembered everything and still chose mercy. Months passed since the Eclipse weapon was shut down. The stars felt different, not just quieter, but louder, like the galaxy had exhaled after holding its breath. For too long, the Council was gone. Its towers were empty, its leaders scattered. Some were arrested, some disappeared. Others tried to start new lives, hiding from the justice they had denied so many. In their place, something new was growing. The Accord, a council of equals formed by dozens of species, including humans. They didn't rule by fear. They voted, listened, debated. And slowly, hope returned. But peace was not perfect. Not everyone wanted it. On the edge of known space, far beyond any patrol route, old enemies were watching. The Zerun Collective, an insectoid species once allied with the Council, refused to accept the new order. They believed strength came only from control, from war, and they were building something. Deep in the red gas clouds of Sector W-17, hidden inside a dead planet, the Zerun had created their own super weapon, not a machine, but a living fleet. Ships made from biometal and grown in vats of alien flesh, fast, deadly, hungry. The Accord didn't know yet, but one person did. Captain Elias Ward. He had disappeared after the Eclipse incident. Some thought he had died. Others believed he left the galaxy, but in truth, he had gone underground, watching, listening, preparing. He still didn't trust peace. He didn't believe in speeches or dreams, but he believed in one thing. Humanity must never be caught sleeping again. From a small, black ship called Remnant, Ward watched Zerun's signals flicker across his screen. They were close to launching, close to war, and this time, they wouldn't just strike planets. They wanted Earth. Earth had been dead for years, its surface burned and cracked, but it was still sacred to humans. It was their beginning, their memory. Ward couldn't let it be erased. He sent a signal across old Terran channels. One line: the storm is not over. Ren, now a diplomat in the Accord, received the message while attending a peace summit. She read the line and froze. Juno, now her security chief, leaned over. Is it him? Ren nodded. He's found something. Kai, now a young leader of a united colony, also received the signal. He didn't hesitate. He rallied ships from every race that had fought beside the humans, fighters, freighters, old mining ships with cannons strapped on, anything that could fly. They called themselves the Last Line. Meanwhile, Ward moved alone into Sector W-17. He knew the risk. The remnant was small. He was outnumbered, but he wasn't there to fight. He was there to warn. He flew straight into the mouth of the Zerun fleet. The insectoids laughed. You return alone. Human, have you come to surrender? Ward answered, with one word, no. He pressed a button on his console. Suddenly, dozens of hidden beacons across the sector lit up. Human cloak probes had been recording the Zerun weapon building for months. Every location, every ship, every weakness, and now, every Accord world had the data. The trap had become a warning across the galaxy. Fleets scrambled. Lights filled the skies. The last line jumped into the sector like a wall of fire. The Zerun roared and charged. Ward stayed in the middle of it all, dodging, striking, guiding ships through chaos like a ghost from legend. Ren's cruiser fired the first shot. Kai's fighters danced through enemy lines. Even old alien ships, once enemies of Earth, flew beside Terran vessels. For the first time in history, the galaxy didn't just fear humans. They fought with them. Hours passed. Explosions rocked the sector. But in the end, the living fleet fell, not because of stronger weapons, But because this time, humanity wasn't alone. On the ruined battlefield, the surviving ships formed a circle. Terran, alien, rebel, former enemy, together, Ward's voice came across all open channels. This is not the end of war. There will always be threats, always darkness. But now, he said, we face them together. Then, he cut the signal. He disappeared again. As he always did. Some say Ward never wanted peace. Others say he just wanted to make sure no one ever forgot the cost of losing it. Years passed. The scars of war slowly faded from the stars. The Terran Armada no longer haunted the edge of space. Council flags were gone, replaced with the shared emblem of the Accord. A circle of 12 stars with a human hand and alien claw shaking in the center. Worlds once burned were rebuilt. Cities that knew only fear began to dream again. But legends don't die, and neither did the name human die to the young. They were heroes from stories. To the old, they were ghosts of fire and shadow. To the galaxy, they were the line between the past and the future. Captain Elias Ward had vanished after the battle with the Zerun Collective. No one had seen him since. Some believed he was dead. Others believed he was hiding, watching Dot, but his legacy lived. On Dot in a learning hall on a peaceful planet called Telleris, a child asked her teacher, were humans really monsters? The teacher smiled. Some were saviors, but all were unforgettable. She pulled up a hologram and an old, grainy image of the ghost of Earth floating above Bathar Prime. That ship changed everything. Far away, on a small moon that had no name, a group of mixed settlers, humans, aliens. Hybrids worked together to build something new. Not a city, not a weapon, a home. Kai stood on a hill, watching the sun rise. He wore no armor now, no rank. Beside him, Ren placed a hand on his shoulder. Do you think it's over? Kai looked at the sky, quiet for a moment. No, but I think the worst is behind us. Juno joined them, holding a steaming cup of Kelru tea, and if trouble returns, we'll be ready, Kai said. Not as Terrans, not as Zarn, not as Varnik, just as people. Peace wasn't perfect. There were still pirates, still whispers of hidden weapons, but no more empires ruled by fear, no more forgotten species begging for help. Human technology was now shared carefully. Their star drives helped smaller planets grow. Their medicine cured diseases once thought unbeatable. Their history, once erased, was taught to every race. The galaxy hadn't just survived the return of humans, it had grown because of them. On the dark edge of the galaxy, where no lights touched and no patrols flew, a single ship drifted among the stars, black as space, quiet as death. It was Remnant. Inside, Elias Ward sat alone, staring at an old photo. The same photo he had always carried Earth before the fall. He still remembered the day the sky burned, the cries, the silence. He remembered the pain of being forgotten, the fury that followed. But he also remembered the girl Miru, who stood with a flag instead of a weapon, the rebels who chose to build instead of destroy, the crew who followed him, and the ones who walked away. He touched the screen. Earth never got a second chance, he whispered, but maybe the galaxy will. Lexi, still active, spoke softly. You could return. Help them. Ward shook his head. They don't need me anymore. That's the point. He stood, walking to the ship's window. Outside, the stars stretched forever. Stay ready, he said. For what? Lexi asked. Ward gave a small smile. In case the galaxy forgets again. Then the ship turned slowly and disappeared into the dark. Somewhere far away, a new child was born, half human, half Glor. She would grow up learning the languages, to histories, and no fear. She would never know what it felt like to be hunted, forgotten, or called a myth. And when she asked who saved the galaxy, her mother would whisper, the ones they thought were gone.